Eyup, cock. We have got the last 16, I believe, of the FA Cup. And you guessed it, baby. We're doing predictions. Let's start here. Villa and Cardiff, Friday night. Okay, well, straight off bat, who would have thought it, but I'm fancying side that's in Europe of a relegation-threatening championship side. In fact, it depends, because I always want to see what sort of team they put out in previous round anyway, especially the favourites, like Villa against West Ham. They still had a really, really good side out. Like, they had Watkins playing, Rodgers were playing. But there were some changes in there. And I do think it'll be same again here. Like, they bet West Ham 2-1. But Cardiff are no mugs these days, you know. Seriously, they've only lost 2 games in, like, months. But one of them was a 7-0 to Leeds. Don't bode well. No, I'm not going to do one of them ones where I just get underdog free pass every single time. I'm expecting a Villa win. And to be honest with you, quite a comfortable one-ish. Not like a 3-0 out ridiculous, but like I'd probably just say a comfortable 2-0 Villa win to get us rolling. I do think, and I do hope, at least, that there will be some shocks in this, but I don't think this will be one of them. I'll go for Cardiff easy win. Like, don't worry, I'm not going for the gimmick of, oh, EFL man, must pick EFL team every single time. It's not going to work like that, as much as I would like it to. Palace and Millwall. The Palace are on, like, absolutely nuts form at the minute. And also, I don't think SA's cup tied. I couldn't find the game to see if he played in the other FA Cup game or not. But my mate's a Millwall fan and he said that he didn't play. So I'm assuming that SA can play in this game. So if you're a Millwall fan, you know what's coming. Again, it's unfortunate, really, that Millwall are going up against a side that's really good. Same as Cardiff, because Cardiff have, like I said, they're no mugs recently. They're not losing a lot of games. Millwall are exact same. They lost to Plymouth. Or they got, let me rephrase that. They got absolutely bummed by Plymouth. But other than that, they've not lost since Hull on 18th of January. They've had 6 wins in that time. Including away at Leeds as well. I know Leeds put like a massively rotated side out against Millwall. They played kids effectively. But Millwall still did well there to get a win. And I feel like Palace aren't daft. You know, like some of these Premier League sides that win absolutely nothing and never will. Like Brentford, for example. 0 trophies in their history, but will rotate full squad. Even if they get to like quarters or something. They will fully rotate the squad and just focus on finishing 13th instead of 14th in Prem. Palace aren't daft. Palace are... They use a really nice mix of, like, the better players. Like, Gurhi played against Donny. Mateta played. Wharton had just come back, so he was playing. But then at the same time, they played, like, Deveni, some young one from Academy. So they do switch it up nicely, Palace. They've got a good mix across the board. And I do think that will be enough to get past Millwall. Don't get me wrong, I would love Millwall to win something. My second team, I want Millwall to do something, but they're not going to win. Palace at home aren't even that good, really, as well, which is like a little bit of a hope that Millwall can hang on to, I guess. But no, I'm sorry. Millwall have got an half-decent record against these, I'm pretty sure. Don't they get escorted to their own home games against Millwall, Palace? No, I'm kidding. I do see a Palace win again. But I fancy Millwall for a goal, you know. I think it'll be closer than the Villa Cardiff one. I'll go 2-1 Palace. Probably Roman SA winner in like 90th. Just wouldn't surprise me at all, but we'll go 2-1. Preston and Burnley. Shit! Got some little derbies going on here. Palace and Millwall and then Preston Burnley. I mean, Burnley bet Southampton 1-0 in the round before this. I think that was Marcus Edwards' first game. He come off bench and won, if I'm not mistaken. And they put a good side out. And Preston straight past Wickham, who are just like a good League One side. Well, a top League One side. Did him a bit of disservice there. Again, I don't think this is one for an underdog. I do think it's favourites day so far. Because it's like a little bit of a derby, there's always that added spice to it in there. And both these games in league, they've played each other twice already, and both of them were 0-0. So, wouldn't be that surprised if it's a 0-0 penalties type of vibe. And to be honest, I might go extra time here. I don't think... Does it go to extra time? Hold on, I need to look. I don't even know what rules. Because I remember there were extra time in the last one. I just don't know if it changes after a certain... period. You'd think now, would you? I'm sure it still goes to extra time. I can't even find it, but I think it still goes to extra time. I will go, but teams like shut up shop a lot of time, don't they? When you get extra time, it's not a case of let's go and try and win. It's a case of we're all shattered anyway. We've got league to focus on. Let's just shut up shop and try to get pens. So I will go Burnley on penalties. I'm gonna go 0-0 Burnley on pens to make it the three-peat of 0-0s with this fixture this year. Bournemouth and Wolves. I mean, these played the other day, didn't they? And Wolves won 1-0. But that was thanks to Bournemouth having a red card extremely early on. Bournemouth beat Everton 2-0 in round before this. And then I remember watching the Blackburn Wolves one, actually, and I thought Blackburn did quite well for first like half especially. But Wolves have got some like 70 million quid man just stood up front, just taking piss, regardless who was playing against in Cunha. He's so good. Again, in last round, Bournemouth still put a really good side out, but they did make odd change. They had odd young'un in there. So did Wolves as well. Wolves changed like a couple players, not loads and loads, but they didn't go like, both of them didn't go like super full strength, like full on starting 11. I don't think either of them will here. And I think Bournemouth have probably got the better depth than Wolves. But at the same time, I quite fancy Wolves, you know. Just like the mentality factor, they've obviously been here and won other week. And maybe Bournemouth, I might be completely wrong here, and Bournemouth will be massively fired up for it and they're going to spank Wolves 4-0. But I won't be surprised at all with a copy of a fixture and just go for a 1-0 Wolves. I'm going to do it just like pure juju vibes. That's all I've got going here. I'm going for Wolves 1-0. Man City Plymouth. If this is 1-0 to away side, I'll be gassed, mate. I'll be really happy for you. This is giving me like serious vibes to us, to Barnsley. I think it was 2008 where you got to FA Cup semi-finals when we bet Liverpool at Anfield and then bet Chelsea at home. Get to semi-finals, Wembley or Millennium. I think it was Wembley. Lose to Cardiff. If Plymouth can pull this off, they would be on to one of the best cup runs of all time, honestly. Unfortunately, I don't think they will. And don't get me wrong, there's no better time to play Man City, is there? In like recent history, this is worst side that they've probably had by a long shot. I think the thing that Plymouth could potentially have on them is legs. But Man City are going to rotate the team massively, I'd think. I would expect him to put a lot of young'uns in to try and nullify that a little bit, because Plymouth are obviously just going to sit back and defend for that entire game and then try and play on counters. So they've got a decent bit of pace on the width, Plymouth. But saying that, Man City away at Leyton Orient played Gundo, Nico, and that McAtee. I think McAtee will play again, probably, if he's not injured. To be fair, I could see that it's that same midfield three lining up. But Leyton Orient get a good go at it, you know. They really did. And that's a playoff chasing League One side. Plymouth recently again have started like dropping off a little bit. Like they've only got 2 points out the last 3 games. But like we saw against Liverpool, big game, the defenders would bang up for it and Liverpool created very little entire game. I thought Plymouth did well at just shutting up shop and making it so Liverpool had to just rely on crosses a lot of time, because that's what Man City are going to have to do as well. To be fair, Man City are going to be a bit more used to it because teams in Premier League play like that against Man City. Liverpool are good on break a lot of time, aren't they? Liverpool are a lot more diverse, I would say, now they can attack than Man City are. But Man City are going to be a lot more used to a side like Plymouth than Liverpool would be, is my logic. They're going to break them down eventually. I would love to say, oh, Plymouth are going to win this. I would love to say that. But I just don't think it'll happen. And I could honestly see them getting arseholed a little bit. Not like a 5-0 or something ridiculous like that. But not a million miles. I'll go with 3-0 to Man City. I do just think Plymouth will be pegged back from minute 1 to minute 90 and they'll be shattered by the end of it. I will go with 3-0 Man City. Also, because they're out at Champions League now, I think Man City are going to take this a lot more serious. As they're out at Mickey Mouse. They're out at Premier League effectively. They're out at Champions League. This is it. This is their only chance at a trophy, so I think they take it really seriously. Not half-arse it. Newcastle Brighton kicking off at 1:45. Okay. Like I've just said about Man City being their only chance at silverware, Newcastle are obviously in Mickey Mouse Cup final. Are they going to want to rotate a little bit here? As opposed to Brighton, who, again, this is their only chance at winning something. Have Brighton ever won a trophy ever? I don't know. I think they'd go for it. Especially like how they played against Chelsea in round before. They put a really good side out against them. And Newcastle rotated a lot, to be honest with you. Away at Birmingham as well, because Birmingham are no mugs. Birmingham are a top 10 championship side, realistically, in terms of personnel they've got and how they're playing. The top of League One by an absolute landslide. They win every week. And Newcastle rotated massively. Osula played, who's like, he's barely even had a sniff in Premier League, and he absolutely took the living piss out of one of Birmingham's best players at left back 24/7 over and over again. Like Wilson played, Willock, Osula, Miley, Longstaff, Target, Kraft. They put a massively changed side out and still won. They're not stupid enough. You know, like Liverpool as well, when they went to Plymouth and they didn't even bring big lads with them to come off bench if they needed to, which they did need to. Newcastle have still got their big lads on bench if required. Even by rotating it, I do still fancy Newcastle a little bit at home. Like Brighton have won 4 in a row. They're looking solid again. They go through waves, don't they, Brighton, and just winning and losing on little streaks. But they're scoring a lot of goals in recent weeks. A 2-1 win against Chelsea, their 3-0 win against Chelsea. 4-0 away at Southampton. 2-1 to Bournemouth. And away from home, they've won 4 out of the last 5 games, only getting battered by Forest in the middle of that. But then at the same time, the teams that Newcastle lose to at home, if we actually look at it this season, lost to Brighton, West Ham, Bournemouth and Fulham. They don't lose to Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea. Do you know they don't lose to them sort of sides. They lose to Brighton's. And no disrespect to Brighton. Oh, I don't know what to go. I'm struggling with this. This might be an extra time job, but then I might just go for pens. You know, because I can't decide. I might just lob it on pens and then flip a coin. I'm not flipping a coin. I'm going to go pens. I'll go 1-1 pens. Newcastle based on atmospheric fact that they'll be up for it with pens. Man United, Fulham. Oh, my God. Oh, dearie me. Man United obviously scraped past Leicester in like 93rd minute from an offside goal in round before. Classic. Fulham won 2-1 away at Wigan. We're a massively rotated side. But Fulham are a better football team at minute than Man United are. That's not crazy to say. That's a fact. Fulham are literally on like outskirts of Europe. Man United are in a borderline relegation battle. Also, just looking at Fulham's recent results. 2-1 win, 2-1 win, 2-1 win. 2-0 loss at home to Fulham and then a 2-1 win again. Or 2-1s. Scaife would be loving it. The last 3 away games they've won 2-1. They've won 5 out of the last 6 away games, Fulham. They only lost to West Ham. They bet Chelsea, Leicester, Newcastle, Wigan and Wolves. Man United at home are turning it around a little bit, but they've always got that loss in them. And they only beat like horrendous sides like Southampton, Leicester, Ipswich, Rangers. You know what I mean? They're only sides that they've been beaten recently. I quite fancy Fulham, and just based on the recent scoring, I'm going to give Fulham a 2-1 win. Is that even like the underdog? Really? Is that like some big story? Man United losing these days? They're just one of them teams, aren't they? They're just a mid-table Prem side these days, Man United. So, and then last but not least, Forest and Ipswich. I'm going to say something which might sound absolutely ridiculous, but I can see Ipswich maybe doing like a Wigan. You know when they went down but won cup? They'll not win it, don't get me wrong, but I think they could go quite far, Ipswich, but still get relegated. Away at Coventry, bearing in mind, if you don't watch Championship, right, and you don't know, Coventry started really poorly, but they've got one of the best squads in the league, and recently, since Lampard's come in, they've just been winning constantly, just win. The only losses that they've had since Lampard come in are to Leeds, who are your eventual title winners in Championship, and they lost 4-1 at home to Ipswich in Cup. They're the only losses that they've got. Forest, last couple of games have been dropping off a little bit. They lost to Fulham, Newcastle, and they got a point against Arsenal. And to be fair, they only scraped past Exeter in Cup, and Exeter are shit. Like, terribly bad in League One. Honestly. And this is my, like, obsession with Ipswich. I just want to clear this up as well. I want Ipswich to stay up just based on, like, it's the premise. It's not that I've got any affection for Ipswich. I don't care. I want Ipswich to stay up to prove that the Premier League isn't just a completely dead league. I don't think they will now, but I want them to. That's my only reasoning. Even if it were, say if it was Sheffield United that went up and they're in Ipswich position, I would want them to stay up just based on the fact that they're the only one that could like give hope to anybody for the rest of the time with Premier League and how it works with money now. I do, however, think this is potentially your underdog story here. I am giving Ipswich a win. There's going to be goals in it, obviously, because Ipswich's defence is shit, to be honest with you, but they've always got goals in them. It's obviously going to be a close one because that's what Forest games are a lot of the time, apart from the Brighton one. I'm going to go with Forest defensively solid as well, apart from like recent weeks. I'll go with it I'll go 2-2 pens Ipswich. Big call, but I'll go 2-2 pens Ipswich. Remember this second right here. Remember this snippet if this happens. 2-2 Ipswich pens. Oh, that's that. There's only 8 games, isn't there? Obviously, it's last 16. Thank you guys for watching, boys. Kiss, make sure you like and subscribe if you did enjoy it, and I will see you in a bit. Reds.
I say I'm a man, yes, I'm a mucker. I think of me saying as a right good looker. I say up that. Show us bit it.